like a lot of you, my mind is often in a lot of different places. I'm still trying to like run my life and write a book and deal with the house and do all the things. So oftentimes when I come to these sessions, I'm like, what am I talking about again? Or like today, I've got a lot of things I want to share with you. And I'm like, where do I start? What do I say? How can I make this clear? And so knowing that I had this breathing to demark this time and to center myself so that I can show up as the best possible version of me, which is as good as it is at any given time. So I just want to invite you into that freedom too. Like, how do you want to start your meetings or your gatherings or your family dinner or your workshops? You have the power. I remember my mom actually going to hear Ram Dass speak one time. As you may know, side note, Ram Dass's birth name is Richard Alpert. So she goes to hear him speak, and there's a lot of wrestling in the crowd and everybody's excited and they're getting their seats and everything, and then they're sitting and waiting and talking with each other. He enters and comes onto the stage with no fanfare, no announcement, no nothing. He just comes out and he stands there and sort of looks at everybody and kind of takes everybody in, breathes them in, and eventually the crowd notices that he's there and sort of gets quiet until they're all quiet together, sort of having this moment, observing each other, gazing at each other. And Ram Dass says, Ram Dass is here communing with you all on a spiritual level. I'm so grateful for your attendance and your presence. He says, and Richard Alpert is counting the house. I love that. I think it's brilliant. We're always like, on the one hand, I'm communing with you spiritually. On the other hand, I'm figuring out how many of you there are and how many more could there be next week. We could exist on multiple planes at the same time. Right. Kim's laughing. That's funny. Good. Great to see you, Kim. Those of you who are on the Facebooks or watching this recording later, hello, hello. I want to talk with you. We're doing a little special sale right now. We've almost never done this before, very rarely. We're having a special sale on a course we have called Turn Your Wisdom into Workshops. It's actually called Turn Your Wisdom into Online Workshops, because I taught it several times as Turn Your Wisdom into Workshops, only focusing on teaching live courses. And then, COVID. So I taught it again, focusing on teaching online. Now you can sort of do one or the other, or even better, a hybrid, do both. So that course is available for you at a special discounted price with some very special bonuses. You can check it out at therealsambennett.com/WIOW, WIOW, Turn Your Wisdom into Online Workshops. I started teaching the Get It Done workshop in like 2001. I think it was just a side offer from, I was teaching with Sam Christensen, and I felt like our alumni needed another thing. So I started teaching it at Sam's, and then they decided they didn't really want that as part of their curriculum, but that I could go do it myself. So I started teaching it like literally in a church basement in Van Nuys, California, to like 11 people. I might have charged $75. Some of you were there. Some of you, I was doing it in my house for a while, my little apartment in Sherman Oaks. It was just one of a lot of things I was doing, but it was really fun. And it leaned into some of my strengths of like helping people think strategically, get clarity about what it is they wanted to do. Not just a good way to go about getting it done, but a self-driven way to get it done. Like what way could you lean into your favorite way of doing things, your favorite way of being in the world, to present whatever it was you wanted to do. For years, I would teach it like once or twice a year. It was just sort of another one of my little side gigs. And then in 2009, I started doing it full time. It changed everything. I mean, that's how I got my first book deal, was because I had taught this workshop. I could demonstrate like, no, people are interested in this. I have made money from this. It's how I got my second book deal. It's how I got my most recent book deal. It's how I got asked to teach at Harvard Extension. It's how I've been creating these courses for LinkedIn Learning, and y'all, we are very close to 1 million LinkedIn learners. Now, we started saying a million when we were over 900,000, because I'm like, we're so close. But every once in a while I go in and I actually add up exactly how many attendees, and we're at like 979,223 or something. Like, we're very, very close to actually crossing the 1 million learner mark. What might it mean to you, just as a person, to know that your thoughts, your insights, your teaching had reached 1 million people all over the world? I just got a ping from somebody in Jamaica, from somebody in Mumbai, from somebody in Austria, all over the world. And as Ram Dass was communing with the room, but also, and Richard Alpert was counting the house, the, Sam Bennett teacher is like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful impact, what a beautiful connection, what a beautiful result. Sam Bennett actor is like, oh, I'm sorry, a million, an audience of 1 million all over the world watching me perform my own writing. That's interesting. You don't know where all this is going, right? I would never in a bazillion years have predicted that little course, the teaching the Get It Done course, which, by the way, I called it Get It Done, and I was like, that's the stupidest name in the world. I'm gonna have to think of something different. And now it's like my whole brand. Oh, Beth Parker says, I would encourage you to take that course. It's full of a lot of juicy stuff. Oh, thank you, Beth. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Let's consider your vision for a minute. What would your version be if you could share your wisdom and think of something you've learned, and maybe you learned it from somebody else. You got certified in it, you trained in it, you learned it in college, you learned it in your old job, whatever. And I know a lot of you love working with people one-on-one. And here's what I know for sure is that when I say, what do you love about working with people? You say, it's the light in their eyes. It's the way, when they get it and they light up. That's the part you love, right? And it's wonderful to do it with people one-on-one, but I'm here to tell you, it is more wonderful to do it in groups. And groups teaching workshops helps you leverage your time, right? I mean, when you're working with people one-on-one, there's only so many people you can work with. You only have so much energy. There's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much you can charge for a one-on-one session. I mean, when I work with people one-on-one, it's $750 for a session, which is sometimes as short as 20 minutes and sometimes as long as an hour or an hour and a half. But, there's just only so much you can charge for one-on-one. But if you have a course that you can offer for $1,000, you can have 10 people in it. You can have 100 people in it. You can have 1,000 people in it. You have a course you want to sell for $9. You can have 100 people in it. You can have 1,000 people in it. You can have 10,000 people in it. Lori says the light, or when they come to you afterwards in tears saying, now I understand. I know. Isn't that the best feeling ever? Isn't that the best when they're like, oh my gosh, I get it. Yeah. Kim says, I'm a digital productivity coach and I've had a vision for years for a group program. I'd love to move away from one-on-one coaching. Yeah, exactly. I mean, one-on-one is great, but it's exhausting. And like I say, it's you can't scale that. Right. And I know you guys have a big message. You want to share it with the world. The other wonderful thing about teaching workshops is you can have cash pretty much whenever you want it. You could turn around this afternoon without taking my course or anything else, send out an email, put up something on Facebook, send out, a little note to 50 people that you know, 10 people that you know, and say, hey, I'm going to do a thing on Saturday. It's a summer solstice festival. We're going to bake cookies and pray and set our intentions. I don't know. I'm making this up, obviously. Hey, I'm going to teach a thing next Tuesday evening from 7 to 10. It's $25. And we're going to get clear on your, how to write a great bio, for your LinkedIn page. You get 20 people in there, that's $500 in less than a week. It can be really, really easy. Make that vision for yourself. Make a little note for yourself. What would that look like? Kim's a digital productivity coach. Kim, you could sell that all day long. If there's one thing I know about the world, it is that everyone thinks they have a productivity problem. And now contrast that vision, that thought of what you could maybe be teaching or what that could maybe look like for you financially or personally, the impact you could be having in the world with your current reality, with feeling sort of stuck, with feeling kind of maybe sort of adrift of I don't really know what's next. I don't really know where to go. Not really sure how to make the future better. Not really sure how to up your own earning potential so that you can fund your own life, but also, maybe give special presents to people you love, or take everybody on a trip, or just even go out for a special dinner without sweating it. It's beautiful to say, hey, I'll pick up the check. I love doing that. It also just puts you back in the driver's seat. It puts you in a position of power, especially if you've got a full-time job where you may not be in the position of power, where they may be yanking your chain quite a bit, to say, okay, I've got a thing on Saturday where I'm in charge. I get to treat people the way I want to be treated. I get to create a warm, welcoming environment. I get to share the things that are important to me and create an environment where people get to share the important things with them. You're taking a stand for your own values. And in a world where we are out of control of so many things, almost everything is completely outside of our realm of control. But when you're teaching, you are holding the space, you create the world, and you get to have it align with your values. It's kind of great. She says, yes, lighting up the world, a handful, an armful, or a crowdful at a time. Yep, it's pretty fantastic. So we're offering this course, Turn Your Wisdom into Online Workshops. It's an evergreen course, so you can do it at your own pace. And you can get started for $150. if you take the payment plan. If you go to therealsambennett.com/WIOW, we call it WIOW. therealsambennett.com/WIOW. You'll see all the things you get and all the bonuses. There's a ton of bonuses, and there's a special pricing. We go through all of it. Like we talk about what, if you're like, well, this sounds great, Sam, but I have no idea what I would teach. Aha, that's the first session. Because I say WIOW every time. It's so fun. WIOW. So what it is you would like to teach, what would really make sense for you to be teaching, and how to name it. You may have noticed I have a special gift for naming things. I once taught a course called the Bunny Slope, and it was like an introduction to email marketing. There's a session on what to teach and how to name it. And if you purchase WIOW, there's a little time limited bonus. You will get a one-on-one private session with me in which we'll talk through what you're teaching and what the title is. It's kind of fun. It's kind of magical. And you can also, of course, ask me anything you'd like to ask me during that time. We talk about marketing and sales. Like, okay, I can teach this workshop, but how am I going to get people in the door? Well, that's obviously one of your main concerns. So I tell you exactly how to get people in the door, including how to do a preview webinar. There's a bonus on how to do everything I know about how to do a preview webinar so that you can offer a free training that both offers legitimate training and maybe entices people to work with you further. My favorite session is called Disasters because I am here to tell you everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Everything. Your best client will ask for a refund. The internet will go down. Your assistant will quit on the day of. The swag will not arrive. Your Zoom will not load. All of it will happen. That session is really about me, first of all, normalizing the disasters, and also maybe how to prevent them in advance or how to deal with them when they do happen. Kind of thing nobody ever tells you, right? Everybody's all like, no, it's fabulous. Yeah, it's fabulous. And it can be a complete shit show, but you can handle it, especially if you are aware. We talk about the tech stuff in a way that human beings can understand, right? So how do you do the email? How do you do the online? There's also a bonus segment on how to do it in real life. If you want to do it in your living room or in a church basement or at some other, or in Greece, I'm leading a retreat in Greece this fall. So we talk about how to do it in real life, or again, how to do a hybrid. We talk about how to deliver the course, like what happens once you've actually, so you've named it, you've decided on it, you've named it, you've marketed it, you've sold it. Now, how do you deliver it? How do you keep people engaged all the way through? How do you structure the learning so that it really works, so that you're not over delivering? Because I know that's what most of you try and do, is you're trying to tell everybody everything and you try to over deliver, and then they get overwhelmed, and then it's not working as well as you want it to. So we talk about delivery, the architecture of a good workshop. And then I give you all the checklists and all the templates and all the tech stuff and the preview webinar. If you enroll in a speedy and timely manner, you get a private session with me to talk about your title. We're going to teach a class on how to have sales conversations in a way that feels delicious and ethical and delightful, especially if you're going to have a higher ticket course. If you're going to have a course that you're going to sell for over $1,000, over $2,000, certainly over $5,000, people kind of like to talk to someone when they're going to spend $5,000. So I will show you how to have a conversation with potential people that really helps you come to a decision together about whether or not this is the right thing. So it's not you trying to sell them or push them into it, and it's not them evaluating you and seeing if you're really right. It's about the two of you coming to a mutual conclusion of like, yes, this is right, or no, this isn't really the right thing for us. It's a really fun, ethical way to make sure that you are only ever working with the perfect ideal client, because some of you may know nothing is more expensive than a bad client. Nothing is more destructive to a workshop than having someone in the class who is not a good fit. So we're going to do this live training to make sure that everyone in the room is a good fit. So my question for you is, if you were to sign up for Turn Your Wisdom into Online Workshops, and I'm not saying you're going to, but if you were to do it, so now you've been thinking about this, I could name the thing, I could offer it, I could sell it, I could have cash when I wanted it, I could share my hard-earned wisdom with the world. Like, what one result would totally make it worth it for you? That's what I want to know. If you were going to do this and you're thinking, well, it's a lot of work, summer's not a good time, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I know. I'm concerned I won't follow through. I know. But all that aside, what one result would totally make it worth it to you? And I know there's a little minute here where you're sort of thinking about the answer, and then you're typing it, and then I see it, and then I read it. So I'm trying to sort of surf this moment, because I'm really curious. What would make it worth it for you? What would make it worth the investment of time and money and energy what would make it worth the stretch of putting yourself out there as a teacher and a leader? Claire says the financial support to stay an artist and a writer. Yeah. And here's the great thing. This was a deep consolation to me when I first started teaching, especially when I started getting asked to speak as like a marketing expert. I'm like, I'm not a marketing expert. I'm an actor. Like, oh. And then I realized, no, they're not asking me to be an expert on every dip dan thing. They're just asking me to share what I know and the way I do what I do. That's all. Even if you're like, well, I haven't totally succeeded at this thing. That's okay. You only need to reach back to people like 10 steps behind you down the road. You don't need to show people how to climb the whole mountain. You just need to be able to go 10 steps back. I can get you from 10 steps back to here. That's what I can do. That's all. That's all you need to be able to offer, right? Pamela says their interest in what I'm offering. Yeah, that makes it worth it. Understanding like, oh, people are into this. That's cool. Deborah says positive impact on the participants. So they want more of what I have to offer. We talk about that too. Upsells, deliverables. Like so now you've got this group. What do you offer them next? Right? There's no better client than the person who's already a great client. Lori says, when I haven't done this type of work for a while, I lose my confidence. So doing something like this would keep me going. Just like your 15 minutes, we need to keep doing things to keep up our skill and confidence. That's right. That's exactly right, Lori. And Lori's a great example of somebody who took her own experience and her own learning, turned it into a book. And I think offering it as a workshop would be amazing, and when I say workshop, you got to know it can be a 15-minute audio that you pre-record and sell for, $9.95 on your website. And that can get automatically delivered. You don't have to show up. It just happens. It just gets delivered to people one at a time. It can be something you do like this every Thursday. Just people sign up for a subscription. It can be having, 5 or 10 people in your living room on a Sunday afternoon. It can take all kinds of shapes and sizes, and it can be as simple and easy as you want it to be. And I would recommend start out with very simple and very easy. And then you can always make it more complicated later. Stop teaching those who don't appreciate what I'm actually giving them. Start helping those who are truly ready to own their future. Right. And that's a positioning thing. There's a shelf up there that she leapt up to. By the way, she didn't just go into space. Although she might someday. And this has to do with title. The title of your workshop is going to be a big part of that, so that you are sure that you are attracting people who are ready to work on the level that you are working. Teaching people who aren't really ready to receive everything you have to give is very tiring. On the other hand, some people love, I spent a lot of my career working with like very beginning entrepreneurs, people who were looking to make their first $1,000 or their first $10,000. All my other friends were like, oh my gosh, Sam, how can you stand to work with beginners? That's so exhausting. Like, I only work with people when they're 5 years in, or I only work with people if they're already making $100,000 a year. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I like the beginners. I was that person who didn't know how to get from 0 to 1,000. So courses like WeOw, Turn Your Wisdom into Online Workshops, is one of the ways I could do that and have a good time. And then I had more advanced courses that were a lot more expensive for people who were a little bit further down the road. So you can scale your teaching adjusted for your audience and what they need. Seeing people grow happily and make wonderful changes in their lives. So they'll want my book. Yes, exactly. They'll be fans. Lori says, great idea. 15-minute audio for sale. Sure. Julie says, just knowing that 10 people were able to receive and act on the wisdom I have to share and were happy to pay me for it. Yeah, that's a great feeling, isn't it? Like, oh, awesome. Veronica says Mahidabel was modeling positioning right on cue. Very well-trained cats. It's not easy to have your cats be your marketing team, but that's one of the things you learn. Kim says, I used to do in-person group programs. I miss my people. I'm telling you, people are starved for other people. We're really seeing it this summer, aren't we? Like, people are like, where's the outdoor festival? Where can I get on a plane? How can I travel to see my people? How can I have a party? How can I go to a group? How can I be in a meeting? Like, please let me leave the house. There's a lot of pent-up demand. And if you're offering the right thing, I was thinking, I love teaching this because it gets me going about like, what courses would I teach? And I thought, I would love, it's summer. A lot of people can't afford daycare or summer camp for their kids. So they're sort of trying to juggle working and kids. And I thought, it'd be so fun to have like a week-long grandma camp. And like from, 9 to 2 every day, we're going to come to the house, we're going to have 10 kids come and we're going to have story time and snack time. And then maybe each day do a little craft or make some cookies and a little nap time and then send them home. Like, how fun would that be? Go to the park. I don't know. Or like a little Saturday afternoon mother-daughter thing. or parent-child thing, doesn't have to be mother-daughter, learning to be a better gardener, or learning how to take a nature walk, or prayer and breathing meditation, spiritual adventures with your kids. I mean, it's endless. It's endless. We've talked before about your weird thing can make you $2,000 by whatever, 4th of July. I challenged people to tell me what their weird thing was, and then I would make a course out of it. And one of them said cloud watching. And I'm like, oh, easy. If you told me that for $99 I could meet you in the meadow from 12 to 2, and you were going to give me a journal, and we were going to talk about clouds, and you were going to remind me of cirrus and cumulus and I don't know, something, and then we were just going to lay there and cloud watch and maybe make some art about it, like I'd be up for that in a minute. How fun would that be? We could have little cloud cocktails. Oh, divine. You can really make an experience for people. Kim says, please tell me this is recorded. So many great ideas. It is recorded, and it lives on the Secrets of Highly Productive Facebook page. So if you are not currently a member of that page, join it. Lucy will approve you. No big deal. And all of the videos live there, all the Thursday videos. So yeah. Veronica puts an asterisk, cat cooperation not guaranteed in WeOw. Your results may vary. Yes, exactly. Oh, it's on the Real Sam Bennett Facebook page too. Oh, great. So it lives both of those places. Awesome. So yeah, thinking about what that one result is, and you might as well jump in. There's a 14-day money back guarantee, and you get to keep all the bonuses. I mean, not the live thing with me, because I can't give you free time, but all the other stuff you would get to keep, all the, so especially you're wondering, like, what's going to happen this summer? Like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to, where do you want to be by Labor Day? And would you like to be at that 4th of July barbecue saying, oh yes, I just offered a workshop. Oh yes, I'm offering another one next week. Would you like to join? Julie notices that WeOw does in fact sound like something that a cat would say. Yep, that's not an accident. We speak cat as often as possible around here. Carol says, already there. I'm in. Woo! Yay! Carol, thank you so much for joining us. That's so exciting. Good. So y'all jump on in. Candace, Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Great to see you. Who's here? Anne, I haven't checked our attendance list in a little bit. Maria, great to see you. Those of you who are lurking, I have been told that some of you skulk. You lurk and you skulk, and you don't show up on my Zoom, and you're just like there watching, but pretend you don't comment, and nobody knows, and that's fine. You're allowed to stand in the back. I am a big fan of anonymity myself sometimes, but maybe it's time for you to step forward. Maybe it's time for you to jump in, because I love doing these Thursday lives, but there's only so much I can tell you in 30 minutes. You get something like WeOw, you get lifetime access to these 6 trainings, plus all the bonuses, plus you can of course email us anytime and ask us questions. And I'm really, y'all, there's a lot of crap out in the world. There just is. There's a lot of shitty teaching happening. There's a lot of ego-driven teachers. There's a lot of people who aren't as smart as they think they are. And you know this because you've signed up for courses, watched the first 2, and then never watched another one. And then you think, oh, it's because I don't complete things. That's not so. Hi, Mehetibel. That's not so. It's because you knew you were done. Like, they said everything they had to say in the first course. And by the middle of the second session, you were like, this is boring. This is dumb. Same thing with all those books that you're like, oh, I buy them and then I never finish them. Right? Because you don't have to. You were done. A lot of it's just filler. Right? You can make a difference. And especially right now, I don't know if you know this, but there's all this AI stuff happening, and people are starting to create courses based on AI, which means that everything's super generic. It's based on information from 2021. And it's not, there's no thumbprint. There's no heartbeat. There's no you. And people are starved for human connection. They're starved for real lived wisdom. You may be thinking like, oh, I'm not qualified. Oh, I'm not certified. Oh, baby, I'm not certified in anything. I don't even have a college degree. I dropped out of Northwestern University to take a job at the Second City Theater in Chicago. I'm qualified in nothing. It's never come up. No one has ever cared, right? You don't have to be certified and qualified in anything, because this isn't about what you learned. It's about what you know. It's about your embodied wisdom, and you teach as much from who you are and how you show up as you do in the actual course materials. I want people to learn from you. I want there to be more people like you, generous people, kind people, creative people, high-speed people, deep people. I want you all in front of whatever group you want. A group of 5, a group of 50, a group of 500, a group of 500,000, a group of 5 million. I want you sharing your love and your wisdom so that when your day comes, and it's coming for all of us, we'll be standing around going, you know what I learned from her? You know what I learned from him? You know what he taught me? You know what she taught me? You know what they taught me? I want you modeling. I want you calling up the best part of yourself and sharing it with the world and profiting from it, because you've sacrificed a lot to learn what you know. You should get a return on your investment. You know what I'm saying? Beth says, I'm a professional lurker. I see you, Beth. Catherine says, hello. Hi, how are you? Julie says, the water's pretty fine. It is. Karen says, I just love hearing your voice say the inspiring ideas that bear repeating. Spark, spark, spark. Babe, you can do the same thing as a Reiki teacher. That's incredible, right? That's exactly what we're doing, is sharing energy and activating energy in people so that they can heal themselves, get better, make the world a better place, right? Leslie says you can definitely charge extra for the feline energies. I should really add on a cat tax for sure. These Thursdays continue to be super. Thank you so much, Leslie. Carol says, ugh, don't get me started on AI. My fellow speakers are starting to use it and it's so generic and weak. You know, it definitely it's a tool. It's like a calculator. Remember when calculators came out and everybody was all up in arms like, oh, nobody's going to learn how to do math anymore. No, we still know how to do math. Well, I don't, but some people do. And the calculator is just a tool to help us get there faster. AI is just a tool to help us do some things faster. Nothing's going to replace human beings. It can't. So, but there's people misunderstanding it, and we're not those people. Veronica says, I made a decision not to cut the verbal pauses when she says or like, right? I do that too, out of my course videos because 1, it's how I talk, and 2, it slows me down and I talk fast enough already, and 3, I'm a real person. Right. You don't need to be a perfect person to teach a class. And in fact, the things that you may think of as shortcomings or, you know, things you might like to fix are actually probably the thing that people like most about you, right? Lori says, when a minister I knew preached, she taught what she had learned about the scriptures, very academic. Then something happened in her life and she spoke in her sermon about her life experience, about how it impacted her, and her impact was great and not academic. That's what you teach. Right, exactly. Julie says, I attended a keynote speaker talk yesterday and I felt like a 3rd grader being patronized. I thought, oh God, Sam would never do this. Thank you. It was not for highly creative people and I left, and I wouldn't have done that before I know you. Good for you. Yes, that's part of it. It's going like, this is not for me. Thank you. And this is true for you too. We don't want everybody to sign up for your course. We want the people who are right for you to sign up for your course, right? So that's you being clear enough in your offer and in your title and your delivery and in what you say and how you say it, so that the right people who vibe with you go, ooh, I'm into this. And the people who are looking for something more basic, more step-by-step, more whatever, they can go find that other thing. Walk on, find your people. God bless the unsubscribes, right? For sure. Julie says, there's new research that people who say are more effective. I read that somewhere. That's awesome. I'm sure. Let's say that's true. I love that. Let's see. Yes, Julie's saying yes. I love that. I'm deciding right now that that is categorically true. Phil Sam says, I like teaching at work, but haven't bit the bullet to do it personally. Yeah, well, when you do it personally, you get to keep all the money, Bev. So I would give that a try. And great, you got a chance to try it out in a work environment with people who kind of have to be there already. And now you're ready to step out. And this is a lot of it too, is you claiming your place as a servant leader. You ready? All right. So step over into therealsambennett.com/WIOW. Meow. And join us. Like I said, there's a special discount. There's some special live bonuses, including the how to have really comfortable, wonderful sales conversations and your title consult with me one-on-one privately. There's a bunch of other stuff you get. And the results of this program have been really remarkable. People have really done it, have taken the information and really flown with it. So I think it's practical. And you get, like I said, lifetime access to it. So you can go back and review, you can do it over and over. You can start really little, say like, I'm just going to thin slice this. I'm going to do, one Saturday 2-hour thing and just see how that goes. I remember I had a client in a different program. It wasn't in WeOut, but it was similar kind of thing about getting your message out. And she decided that she was going to give a talk. She didn't do a great job of letting people know about it. And she knew that. She knew that it was likely that maybe no one would show up. I don't even think she was even charging for it. And, but she had the room. And so she brought her teddy bear to the room and she delivered her talk, her workshop, to the teddy bear in the room. And then next time she did it for 2 people. And then next time she did it for 10 people. Right. So even if you are just going to listen to the courses and sort of let it all sort of wash over you and cogitate, that's an important step. And even if you're just going to deliver it to your teddy bear, that's an important step. And even if you're just going to do it in a church basement in Van Nuys, that's an important step. And eventually you may get to 1 million LinkedIn learners and 3 book deals and a business that supports me and 5 other people. It's not impossible. It's really not. If I can do it, you can do it. But you got to start. You can't get there unless you start. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions. Beth says, I finally launched an email newsletter and had my first unsubscribes. I could hear you saying, God bless the unsubscribes. It was so helpful. Yes, people aren't into it. Go find your people. Also know too, that sometimes people unsubscribe because they're on your list twice. They've got 2 email addresses. So they're just unsubscribing from 1 email address, or they unsubscribe for now and they resubscribe later, or they unsubscribe now because they're trying to get their email list down, but they're following you on Facebook. Like, don't make assumptions. Just, get all 4 agreements on it. Get all Byron Katie on it. People shouldn't unsubscribe. Is that true? Of course not. Of course they should. So yeah, just send them love and blessings. And know that your paths will cross again if that's important. Right? Good for you. And good for you starting your email list. Woohoo! Big progress, girl. Big progress. Love it. Phil sounds like a good idea. I know. We'll sign up for the course and we'll get you there, right? Kim says, thanks so much for your time today, Sam. I'm heading over to sign up. Yay, Kim, I'm so delighted. I'm so excited to see what I will create. Me too. So make sure you report back, all right? I gotta know. Okay, we're a little over our half-hour time, I think. Yeah, a little bit. So unless anybody has any questions, does anybody have anything else they want to say or share or anything where you're like, I would do it except, or I'm interested, but, or I'm terrified that, like, if there's a boulder in your way or a stone in your shoe, let me know about it now so you can just make a clear decision. Like, I don't care if you sign up for this course or not, but I want you deciding, right? I don't want you going back and forth for the next 3 days because the sale ends this weekend, Sunday, I think. So you can certainly buy it after that, but it's going to be more expensive and there aren't going to be as many live bonuses. Yeah, Sunday it ends. So I want you to, feel clear of like, nope, not for me, Sam, thank you. Or, ooh, yes, I'm in. I don't want you being like, no more equivocating, no more second guessing. Let's just make a decision right now. I'm in or I'm out. And if you feel like I would be in, except I have this question, or I would be in, or except I have, this concern, this fear, then let's talk about it now. Pamela says, how do people pay? Yeah, if you go to therealsambennett.com/WIOW, WIOW, all the way down at the bottom, you'll see the order form, and there's a 3-pay option and a 1-pay option. And you can pay with a credit card, or you can pay with PayPal. And if those options don't work for you, then just email us and we'll figure out a way that you can pay that will work for you. Because I like to accept money in any way that people would like to give me money. Julie says, thank you, Sam. I'm terrified I'd spend tons of time and no one would come or care or say, oh yes, I love you and your stuff, but I'm busy, have no money, maybe next lifetime, thanks. Okay. That's a big chocolate sundae of fear. So let's just parse that out a little bit. Terrified I'd spend tons of time. Well, that's your decision. So you could decide to make it super simple. You could, like I said, you could say, I'm offering this on Saturday. I'm offering this in 3 days. I'm going to put this together in 3 days. Right. And no one would come. Well, you can make sure people will come. You can contact them and take their credit card information, and then they're committed and they'll come. Right. That's again what that sales conversation training is about. That'll happen in a couple of weeks. So you could wait and do it in a couple of weeks when you feel more confident having those conversations, but you can know in advance how many people are coming, right? That no one would care. Well, again, this is why we do marketing, right? So you start to put it out there, like you go on your Facebook page and you say, hey, if I taught a class on how to tie your sneakers, would you be interested? Say yes or no below, or DM me. And then you start to see who's interested. And then you have conversations with those people, right? Do a little market research. And then they would say, yes, I love your stuff, but I'm busy. Oh, okay. Well, that's like almost everybody is going to say, oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, I can't do it, but that's amazing. Yeah, that will absolutely happen. Most people. It was a hard lesson for me to learn. Like people would be like, oh my God, I love you. I love it. Get it done. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I'm going to totally tell me next time you do it, because I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my sister to do it. I'm going to get my whole building to do it. We're all going to do it. And then no, they would never show up. Most people have a lot of enthusiasm, zero follow through. So we just know that. And we say, yay, thank you for your enthusiasm. Let me know when you're serious, right? So we just understand that enthusiasm does not equal a sale. Enthusiasm does not equal a sale. Enthusiasm is enthusiasm. So they say, oh my God, that's so great. You say, great. Can I sign you up? Can I take your credit card right now? They go, oh yeah. Oh, okay. So this isn't for you right now. Great. You're just enthusiastic. Terrific. They say they have no money. Well, that's then you haven't sufficiently communicated the value of what you're doing, or it's not the right thing for them. Because I notice that people always have money. I mean, everybody says they don't have money, but then there's a new iPhone and somehow everybody has money to get a new iPhone. Everybody says they don't have money, and then there's a Taylor Swift concert and somehow they find money to go to Taylor Swift concerts. Everybody says they don't have money, but then they need new tires and they find money for new tires. I mean, there's broke and there's broke and there's broke. My experience. So as long as people are above the rent and groceries issue, obviously, if people are having rent and grocery issues, that's not an ideal client. Those people have other things to work out. That's not who we're trying to work with. But above the rent and groceries issue, people have disposable income, and particularly when you can give them a return on the investment, and you can say like, look, I'm teaching this meditation class. How much better would your life be if you were calm, if you were 10% calmer, if you lost your temper 10% less, if you could go into your next contract negotiation with greater calm and certainty? How much would that be worth to you? Right? It's easy for me to charge. I mean, I think this course is usually $500. It's less than that now because of the sale. But it's easy for me to charge $500 for it because I know you can make back $500 in an evening. And certainly over time, you can make it back because I'm showing you how to make money from how to turn your wisdom into workshops. And then you can make that money over and over and over again, right? So you just have to make sure that the value proposition is there. I always try to make sure that whatever I'm charging, I am delivering 3 to 10 times value. So if I'm charging $500, I want to make sure that you are going to get between $1,500 and $5,000 worth of value. Right? And like I said, all those people with all those objections, they're not the right, either you haven't communicated properly or they're not the right people. Either way, next, moving on. Right? So that's my little spiel about that. Good. Anything else? Any other thoughts or concerns? Or I'm so excited you guys are signing up. This is going to be so great. I can't wait to see what you make and how you do it. You're so inventive and fun. I think it's going to be really exciting. Oops, something else just popped up. What do we say? Julie says, that ice cream sundae was delicious. You're welcome. Yeah, it helps me to understand where your mind goes, because I don't have those objections, because I know it can be done. Right? I know you can do it. I can see it right in front of you. You wouldn't be here if you couldn't do it. You wouldn't be attracted to it. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be attracted to me. You wouldn't even know I existed. You would still be somewhere else. You wouldn't be walking out of rooms that weren't right for you, right? So I don't have any doubts for you, but you have doubts for you. And until you tell me what they are, I can't address them. So thank you for sharing that, Julie. I really appreciate your honesty. That was helpful. I'm sure that was a blessing for other people too, because I'm sure there's other people who are like, well, but what if they say they're interested, but then they don't pay, right? Yes, that's definitely going to happen. So you either get them to sign on the dotted line, or it's not right for them. Okay. This has been so fun. I love talking about this stuff with you guys, and I love thinking about what you're going to share with the world, because the world needs your work. The world needs your wisdom. You've been special all this time, and now it's time to let it fly. Let your freak flag fly. Let your wisdom fly. Let your gentle, sweet-tempered authority fly. Create a community. We didn't even talk about that part. What happens with the audience? What happens with the people in the class and they're connecting with each other? That's magic too. We'll talk about that another time. All right. So enroll before Sunday, preferably right now. You're thinking about it. Might as well just do it. And let's do one more breath to close out this circle, this training, this online workshop. You ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mwah. Thanks, everybody. And go sign up. therealsambennett.com/WIOW. See you soon.